Hey, what's up, everybody? JB here from Soccer Dad Pod. It is showcase season. Everybody is wrapping up their high school seasons. Academies have been running through the fall. Everybody's getting ready to head out to some warmer place than where I'm at. And so I thought it'd be cool to bring on one of the nation's leading recruiters, consultants when it comes to getting kids to the next level, looking for the best fit, the right fit, the dream fit. Joining me today from his office while I'm in my basement, Mr. Andy Fleming. How's it going, Andy?
Good afternoon. Happy Friday.
What I want to do today is I want to keep this short and concise for our listeners because a lot of information, we could go down a lot of rabbit holes, but I figured we'd keep this at 10,000 foot level. Give the kids in the process a few things to take away before we get started talking about showcase and communicating to potential clubs or programs. Can you just take a second, give me 60-second summary of State of the Union as far as what you're seeing in the market as far as current needs? There are a lot of kids waiting for some love. There's a lot, it seems as if things are moving a little bit slower. Can you just break down maybe the grad year needs, 26s or seniors right now? What are you seeing for that class? 27s, the juniors, which historically there was a lot of movement in previous years for that junior year. That seems to be slowing just a tad. What are you seeing out there right now?
Well, it's funny. One of the programs that played last night in the NCAA tournament has 0 commitments for the fall, and that's the primarily domestic-based program. Okay, so with that, it is slower. There has been an uptick in the last 3 weeks or so with correspondence with juniors, but especially seniors. But don't forget, on Monday, you have the portal opening. And then that kind of adds, upwards of 1,300 people in the unemployment job search who have employment experience, which makes it difficult for the average high school kid. Juniors, it's very common to be in and out of touch. I think juniors panic quite a bit because they hear stuff probably to get some momentum or get a name with a face in the June 15th era. And then teams play and they see their needs. And now they're going to say, all right, what's in the portal? What are we committing senior wise? And you got to remember, JB, like coming up in about 3 weeks is that gauntlet in Europe where they have all these showcases and these coaches go sometimes for 15, 20 days at a time. So I am finding still people need goalkeepers, people need left-footed players, people need left-footed center backs and left backs, and obviously goal scorers are always in demand.
Awesome. So let me kind of dumb this down into maybe 3 areas so that our listeners can follow easily. And that would be regarding showcases in particular. The MLS Next Fest is right around the corner out in Phoenix. There's an ECNL showcase coming up as well. The girls have a showcase also in December. And what I want to talk about is for these kids, let's talk about their process. So leading up to the event itself, the communication, the showcase email. Can you take a second to talk about what that email should look like? What should be in there? What's too much? What's not enough? What's overkill? How would you advise somebody to communicate going into the event?
Well, the first thing is, I think, next the Tuesday after next. So let's say these events roughly start on Thursday. My list is done. I've met with the staff. We know who we're going to watch. We're traveling on Wednesday or Thursday. I get to the hotel. I'm ready to go. I used to not like my wife tries to get me not to say the word hate. I used to not like getting to the hotel. Games start the next morning, and I have 7 emails from kids. Hey, I'm playing tomorrow at 8 a.m. Well, that's great. So first of all is the timing so schools can prepare. Secondly, very brief, here's who I am. Here's my GPA. Here's a link to my video. Here are 3 accolades. If I was a high school All-American, great. If I was an ECNL Player of the Year, great. But like all section high school captain, these high school, resumes that go like on for 2 pages, that's something to be proud of and you'll never forget, but it certainly doesn't make a big deal. And I just think the team, when you're playing, if you're a goalkeeper, hey, I'm playing these specific halves, here's my schedule, and a jersey number. And for all that we do, I don't think enough kids put their jersey number in. And again, the timing of that, the brevity of it, link to the video, and always 3 or 4 references don't hurt either.
I love it. Second part, now they're out there. These emails have gone out. Let's say that there's a whole bunch of those little folding chairs all around the corner, right? Can you talk about some of the things that you as a coach, as a scout, what are you looking for that is not soccer specific out of these players at these events? Because the technical, the tactical, the physical, and all those things, those play themselves out within the game or the flow of the game. What are some of the intangibles that you look for that might make the notebook that most of these kids aren't thinking about?
Well, let's go from far away and then actually into the game. First of all, win the airport, win the flight. What I see kids all the time with backpacks on. I've talked about this before with their team name and their last name on it, or the team name and a number. Hey, what age group are you guys? And saying stuff and doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. Airport as well as the flight, and then win the hotel. So when you get to the hotel, behave the right way. Keep up with your schoolwork. Some of you might ask for a call or a Zoom, email, text from a coach during the event. Take care of those. Recover, eat, go to bed at the right time. And I always say this, and I hate to say this, but this is how it is. The difference at hotels I'm at between MLS Academy kids and non-MLS Academy kids is profound. And you have to win the airport and the hotel. Relative to the field, well, a couple things. I talk about the mirror. So your side view mirror is looking over and seeing the coaches. You have to be comfortable with it. It has to be normal. If you try to change, I always say people are going to notice you trying to get noticed. So that's the side view mirror, just worrying about the field. You've got the rear view mirror. Geez, I just made a mistake. Body language is big. Geez, we just allow a goal. We move onward. Hey, I didn't start. Well, you're on the field now. Hey, yesterday didn't go well. Stay out of the rear view mirror, and then obviously keep into the windshield. I think you'd be surprised at how many coaches don't care about the score. They don't care about the record. They're coming over. And at that moment, for these next 25 minutes, this is what I see. And they're not making final decisions. They're trying to get a snapshot and an appetizer, whether to continue on. And I think so many kids put so much into who's on the sideline, who's not on the sideline, what just happened. And you have to continue to look through the windshield versus the rearview mirror and kind of stay in the present.
I love it. Finally, let's say whether it's a great showcase, an average showcase, or a so-so showcase, let's talk about the follow-up. Let's talk about what you would advise a player to do, because we're also going into the holiday season. Leagues are going to take a break. Programs are taking a break. A lot of these programs are going to be traveling overseas over the next 60 days. What would you say is maybe one or two things they should do as a follow-up post-showcase?
And again, I was a Division I coach for 25 years, so this is why I'm so good at this. And I always say this to kids. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but if I'm away from my family for 5 nights and I get home the next morning, you know what I'm doing? I'm unpacking. I'm checking the mail. I'm taking the dog for a walk. I'm probably catching up on some stuff around the house, maybe having lunch with my wife. The first thing on my mind is not you. I don't get home and say, man, I got to call him. Maybe there's one or two. Okay, so you got to wait a little bit to hear from them. Remember, there's another layer of transfer portal stuff going on. That's actually treated as an event now, where one coach will stay and actually watch video for 8 hours a day, similar to watching games for 8 hours a day. Then you have the end of the year meetings. Some teams are still playing, and then you have a month off and you have the holidays. So it might take a while to hear from them. Don't think the first thing they're going to do is call you. And I also would be timely with my follow-up and probably give it a week before you reach out, because you're just going to overwhelm somebody who's already overwhelmed, and you probably want to act like you've been there and you're expecting to hear from them versus, seeming desperate.
Well, I love it. Hopefully these kids are taking notes, because that's really, really simple. There's a lot of things they can control. There's a lot of things they can't. Communicating and how they act is really front and center, and that's the easy part. So
can I finish up with a couple of things, JB?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Go ahead.
So, one other thing, I have a couple final snippets as far as what to do, not to do. Then I do have some thoughts on the transfer portal. Don't forget, it's the player and the performance, not the league or the event. And I still think there's so many seniors who are expecting to go to Arizona or to Greer, South Carolina, and this white stallion's going to gallop in, and there's going to be this glowing person. And just because you're at that event, everything's going to change. It's a huge event. It's already unmanageable to begin with. They've added teams. Like, you may not get seen just because you're going to be there. Doesn't mean that's the thing. Don't forget also, parents, like, you're being evaluated. Okay. And I still think what is being said on the sidelines and parent behavior goes into a notebook. And then I watch the player come in line with that parent. If you were a movie star, if you're a supermodel, if you were the former coach of the Boston Celtics, if you were a guy who played the EPL for 10 years and you come talk to me, I'll probably find a little time to talk to you. If I know your son is our #1 recruit, I'll go find you. But don't think you going over and working the coaches makes any difference, because we ultimately have to think they're good enough, and parents waste so much time hobnobbing, thinking it makes it different, and it doesn't. Okay. And then the last thing is really just run your race. Okay. Everybody's race is different. There's ebbs and flows. It comes and goes. You sprint, you jog. peek to the side, but I think so many people think this has to happen, particularly for juniors. And don't forget the average senior, you're going to make your decision in March, April, or May. And I know you want it to have it happen now, and every team has a kid who does it early, but the tempo and cadence comes and goes. It varies, and for every kid, it's different.
I love it, man. Andy Fleming, the man from Boston, living in Cincy, that just shakes trees, man. You're a tree rattler. That's what you do. You know that, right?
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's a good thing.
No, man, I love it. Hey, look forward to hooking up with you soon. Thank you for your time, man. And for those of you listening up to this point, do us a favor, go ahead and give Andy Fleming a follow on Instagram. I'll have notes or links in our show notes. And until next time, Soccer Dad Pod, have fun on your trips.